Good day everyone and welcome back to, well, not continents this time. I finally decided to do something else than continents, and that thing is Minecraft architecture. Yay. So, welcome to Minecraft architecture, and today we are going to be building a condo tower with an office tower right next to it. So essentially a condo tower plus office tower complex. So now let's start off with planning it out. I'm going to get a bunch of different types of wool. So I have planned out the condo tower, and just to explain, the blue part is basically the actual real walls, and the yellow part is where the balconies and stuff are going to be, and those will come with second floor and up. And then this red part is the shear wall, or essentially more like shear walls, because these, I don't know if I'll connect them. Well, we'll see. But these are very important parts of the building, and they help with a bunch of structural things and stuff like that. And they also are the places where the stairs for these on the sides and the elevators for these here in the middle are going to be. So that's that. And I think I'm going to add another shear wall somewhere here, just to balance that one out, though this one will probably just have one staircase and one elevator. And I would like to actually first work on this and then work on the office tower itself. I might also make this a bit shorter, but yeah, like 10 blocks. Yeah, that looks better now, considering that there will be the entire office tower there. But now onto what I want to do with this condo tower. Well, first we need to build this floor, and that's the lowest floor here. And I actually don't know what I'm gonna put here. I'm either considering putting in some storage, because that's what I'm the most familiar with, or I could also, and this is the second shear wall here, but I could also put in a mall, or just some small shops. That doesn't really matter. And I think that could be the better idea, since we can always put storage below the building, and the storage is kind of an eyesore, so I think a mall could work a bit better. So now also, last thing, we need some pillars or columns here, so the building is structurally sound. I think I'll do it like that. Yeah, looks good. And I'll space them out, I don't know, each 7 blocks. So that's 8. It's like this. And I'm going to add a bunch of those. And then we can start with the building. So I've placed in the columns, or not the columns themselves, but I've assigned them positions. I think that's quite a lot of columns, and I think that should be enough. Well, now onto the lowest floor, and that's going to be the mall floor. I think I'm going to keep this one 4 blocks tall, and yeah, I have no plans for this, so we'll see how that goes. But first, I think I'm going to make these columns. I think I'm going to use... Does that look good? I don't know. I think maybe I should go for that kind of concrete look. I could use stone, but I think that's a bit too overused, so I think light grey concrete powder would work. So let me place all those in, and we'll do that with a time lapse. So I have added in all of the columns, and I've actually even built the shear walls and the staircases and all that. Now it looks a lot better, and now you can actually get the picture of what I'm trying to do here. Now this is the main shear wall, this is the main entrance here, and there are staircases like this, there's another one on that side, and then there are 3 elevators and 1 emergency staircase inside here. And then there is a very similar layout here, and that is 3 elevators and 1 emergency staircase. Now I think I've done a very good job with this design for those shear walls with these bricks, and I really like them. It's one of my favorite blocks. I think we can now move on to actually adding in the walls, and that will be a bit more complicated because certain sections of the walls will be different because, well, there are going to be different shops everywhere. But I think I'll start with something easier to build, and that's here. I'm going to put a restaurant here. Or probably not even a restaurant, but a kind of food court. So let's do that with a time lapse again. So that took a while, but now we have a food court, and I think this is pretty good. It took a while to figure out how to make the tables because I'm used to making tables like this, but that takes up way too much space, so I needed to figure out how to make them like this without them looking bad. So I eventually came up with this design, and that seems to work just fine. So yeah, we now have a nice food court, and now I think I could move on to the mall area, which terrifies me because that's going to be a lot of shops. But first I'll need to figure out this area here, this entry area. But that should be pretty simple. I think I'll just make a kind of reception desk here. Now, let's work on the reception area. And again with a time lapse. There we go, we're done with that. And I'm starting to think that making interior was a fairly stupid idea, especially with that office tower. But it looks fine. I can do some way better interior. I just did this very quickly. That's that. We have some interior and that's the main part. And I've also decided on making this storage, so I'll leave that empty. And I think I'll add some more seats here, because there's never enough of those. So now let me actually add on some ceilings and some floors, because I'm actually going to be doing this in a, well, for realistic buildings, a fairly usual system, where I'll place a slab here, and then this will be the floor above it. Now I want to give this building, or this part of the building specifically, I want to give it a kind of yellowish color, something like smooth sandstone. That's what I'm going to use the most. And inside there will be glass, mainly, for the condos. And now I think I can work on the floors. I think for the floors I'll just use grey wool, because that seems to fit the best. I guess I'll play around with this and I'll show you once I'm done. So I have added on the floor, and I have also added in some lights and the ceiling, obviously. Now I decided to use the copper bulbs because I think they are such a cool block. We haven't had many lighting blocks except for the, what are they called now? Frog lights. But those are incredibly difficult to actually get in survival. And that makes me not want to use them really. And also, I don't know, they look kind of weird. I don't think they fit a mall or kind of an industrial building like this. Or not really industrial, but you get the point. They have a kind of homely feel. But yeah, I really like these. I love their texture. And what I also love is that there are those different variants that have different stages of oxidation. And the more oxidized it is, the less it glows. And I've made use of that not only here in these food carts, but also if we fly over all the way to the storage area, well, I've used that there as well. Again, this is not my best interior, not by a long shot. It's not much, but it's better than nothing. And let's work on these floors here. So first I'm going to start off with actually making the balcony railings. Or I don't think these would be called railings, but I don't know what else to call them, so I'll keep calling them that, even though that's definitely the wrong term. I guess they could be also referred to as walls, but that doesn't matter. Let's continue with that. I'm going to go all around the building, and then I'm going to work on actually getting the columns in, and the shear wall definitely will be needed. And then I think we can start work on the rooms. And I think I'll just use one type of room and copy paste. So now let's make a quick time lapse of more column building. So that's that done. Well, now I think we're clear to stack this up. Let's actually take the positions and let's copy and stack it. Though I will first only go with one floor because there are still some things to fix. Let's stack. And that was a bit too much. I've gotten the wrong second position. Now let's do that again. Alright. And that should be good. Now the problems I was talking about are, for example, this stripped birch wood, because I don't want it here. I just wanted it on the first floor. So I'm just going to replace this with smooth sandstone. Now that's that, let's check it out. There will probably be the most problems here in these stairway areas. Or actually maybe not. It seems fine on first sight. Well, let's be thorough and check both sides. But yeah, this should be fine except for the fact that I apparently forgot to even make interior here. So let me quickly do some of that. Now let's go ahead and stack it even more. Let's do like 5 for now. Okay, that's starting to look good. But that's not tall enough. I was looking for a bit more. So let's change that to 8. Okay, that should be enough. That's very big. So how many floors is that? So that's 11 floors. Great. So the only thing that's left of this part of the building is the roof. And I forgot to stack that apparently. So, roof added. Now, of course, I didn't add many things on the roof. But yeah, I added the roof and the walls around it. Now, actually, let me talk a bit about why I chose a roof like this. So, well, it's very simple. The build just looked weird with it kind of going inwards without the roof and without this kind of ceiling here. So, like this, it just looked weird how it went inwards. It's a kind of build that is meant to be very blocky, and it would look weird for it to just reach a point where it doesn't become blocky anymore. It looked unfinished. So I decided to add on this kind of roof, and I think it worked very well. And now onto actually what we need to add on top of the roof. So this is obviously not finished, the roof, because we also need to make these emergency staircases longer and have them go all the way to the roof. And we also need to add some elevator overruns, because elevator shafts don't end at the last floor. They usually end above the last floor because there's the machinery in there. So we need to add that. And then I'd like to add some greenery, because buildings like this tend to have kind of, I don't know, gardens in here. So that could be a pretty good idea. And also I will just add all of the vents and machinery and the AC units that were totally planned for when the building was being built and totally won't cause so much vibration and wouldn't be so heavy as to collapse the building at some point. So let's add all of that, and when I stop spinning, maybe it will be added. Don't believe me? Well, look at that. I have added something. There's this. I've added some AC units and some vents and also the green areas. Now I think I planned this out pretty well, where the middle is the machinery part and it's blocked off but the people from the building can still go up here and go on this grassy area. And same on that side. So there we go. I think I might add some antennas here. But other than that, I'd say that this building is actually finished. So now onto the second building. And that's going to be the office tower. So I'm gonna pick out some wool again and plan out the building. Also I should pick out some red wool for the sheer wall. So I want this to be like a 19 or 18 floor tall building, so not that tall, so it doesn't overshadow this building. So first, I'd like to plan out the main walls. I'll be going for mainly a glass design, but I want to add some variety and make it look interesting in some ways, but you'll see what my plan is with that. So it's not planned out, but one interesting thing is that I made a perfect square. I don't know how, but it's a perfect square. See, it's 31 blocks here. And if we go like that, 31 again. That's cool. Well, I'm going to plan out even more now. So I've planned it out. And why is there a bat there? Well, let me just take care of that. Great. Now, let me explain what exactly I have planned out here. So, the yellow is for the main wall, and the orange is for the pillars. The red is obviously for the sheer wall. And interestingly, I've put a main elevator area in the middle, but I've also put emergency staircases here, 2 of them. I first wanted to put one in the middle, but for a building like this you need 2 of them. So I decided that putting them both in the middle would not make sense, so I just put them on the sides. Which means that if there's a fire here, let's say, you can escape through here. And if there's a fire here, you can escape through there. And the final color is the cyan. Now, you may be asking just why is it like this? Why is there a line of cyan wool? And the reason for that is that this will be an essentially offset block of the tower. And let me actually make it a bit bigger, like this. But this will be an offset block that will start with the 3rd floor, and it will end 2 floors above the roof of this yellow main block. So essentially the tower will be a bit taller here than it will be there, which will kind of smooth it out and will make it so that when you look at it from this angle, it isn't just going up. It goes up and then it goes down a bit in the floor height or height of the buildings themselves. So that's the plan. And now I need to figure out how to do the lobby. It's going to be a bit complicated because of this building and of its floor heights and all that, because lobbies are usually taller than the rest of the building, but I don't know if I feel good about making the lobby 2 floors tall. So yeah, we need a lobby, and then I need to figure out how to make the interior of this. I also don't want to make it the kind of cubicle office tower, because just how alienating must that be to work in an environment like that. So I want to do something better, but also not something completely unrealistic. So I'm gonna place in some of these pillars and start work on the lobby. And I guess let's time lapse it. We haven't had a time lapse in a while. So, the lobby area and the first floor and everything around that has been added. And I don't know if I like this entrance, I might change it, we'll see. But I think I did a pretty good job on the interior. It's not much, it's just some seats here, a reception area and elevator area. But there are also these walkways here. You know, before you think supporting them on chains is a bit dangerous, they're also supported by these pillars, so that's fine. And there's also a window to that hallway. I don't know if I'll keep that, but we'll see. I think I will. Yeah, I think I will. The view from here is pretty good. And you can actually see these big paintings there. And again, let me take care of those pesky bats. So that's been taken care of. Don't ask why there's XP and some items there. Now let's go onto the second floor. And I think that will be, well, a regular normal floor. So it should be pretty simple to build this. So let's get started on that. So I have finished that, and you may be asking just why I decided to place concrete instead of lights. Well, the reason is pretty simple, and it is not that I am completely losing my mind, though that is probably happening, but it doesn't have any effect on the fact that I have apparently mistaken concrete for lights. But the reason for this is that I want to basically have a different light layout on each level, and that will make a very cool effect where the lights will kind of be chaotic or dark colors, and it will look really cool at night. So that's the reason for that. And adding concrete like this that is color coded just makes it a lot easier to then replace. But now more about the style I've chosen. It's a kind of, I don't know, 80s style with this kind of decorative wood everywhere. And I kinda like it. I've decorated it pretty well in my opinion. And while it may not be as efficient as it should be, it is, I think, a somewhat good space for the workers to work in. So I'm pretty happy with this. I forgot to add a light in here. So let me do that quick. And it also has these, I don't know, promenade areas where you can just look out of these windows. The building is very much built, or the interior is built to look very organic and lively, especially with these plants here. Very much a lot different than your usual office building. So that's that. Let me place the floor and the ceiling, and I'll then probably stack it like 20 floors, you'll see that. So, roof added. Alright, I'll stop with the crossbow. But now, what's left is to actually make this a skyscraper. I should add more floors. So let's utilize World Edit for that, because it has a very neat stack feature where you can copy something and then stack it multiple times on itself. So let's copy all this. I hope I'm copying everything I need to. And I'll actually leave in these blocks I used to determine what I want to copy, because I will need to select these areas again for the lights. So let's copy that, and now let's stack it. I think I'll go first with 8 floors. That should be a few blocks below. Yes. Let's go with 9 now. Yeah, and now we will have to change this entire thing, or we can have this be a kind of entrance on the roof. I think I'll do that. That sounds like a better idea, to give the workers in the office building an entrance to a green roof. But yeah, now that looks a lot better than it looked before. And it's still not even finished. I think I'll go like at least 8 floors above that. But first, I need to finish this. So let me just walk into here, and when I turn around, it's going to be finished. So, nothing has changed, has it? Well, let's go outside. And yes, a lot of stuff has actually changed. Now, I don't know why these windows are covered up, because they shouldn't be. Actually, it is possibly because I stacked it again. So, now let's copy this floor and paste it like 5 times. Or, I mean, stack it. I think I'll go one more floor, and then we will do the last 2 floors, because essentially this building is comprised of 2 buildings, or 2 blocks. It's comprised of this grayish block and then this bluish one, and the bluish one starts 2 floors above the ground, above where the grayish one starts, so it should continue on for 2 floors after the grayish one stops. So now let's copy this and copy that here. Oh no, that took me a lot of tries. But let's copy and stack twice. I think if we do twice, yes, that seems to have worked. I'm not sure if that worked. It seems to have worked. The staircases are always the places that get the most destroyed when the stacking doesn't work. Yeah, that seems to have worked. So let's take a look. And oh yeah, that's that. Well, now let's take care of the interior, because it looks horrific. And I'll first start with removing these 2 elevators. And actually, let me jump into this shaft, and whenever I reach the ground, then it's going to be done. Yay! So, we are finished with those 2 floors. It didn't take a lot of time, but I think I did a pretty good job with them. I unfortunately had to add this kind of block here, because that is the elevator overrun, and that is needed here. But other than that, this is finished. Now it just needs a roof. And also, I don't know where I should end the staircase, if it should go all the way up here or if I should end it on this floor. I think I'll have it go all the way here, but not build an entire thing for it. Yeah, that looks pretty fine. And it's pretty simple. It can act as a doorway into this staircase. Yeah, that's good. I'll keep that. So, roof added. I have added this railing here and some seats on this part of the roof, the lower roof, and the upper roof is just machinery, plus a crane for the people who clean the windows. But that's pretty much that. The shape itself of the building is finished. And I think it looks pretty good. But, well, how does it look during the night? Well, let's turn off the lights and turn on the lights in the building. Look at that. That's worked out quite well. I was a bit worried that this wouldn't really work and that it would look bad with the lights all random, but it apparently doesn't look bad. So that's great. I should definitely try out some different shaders though, because I think there might be shaders that change the color emanating from the light to be the same color as the light. Because let me just go somewhere else and let's place this frog light and you'll see that the color is quite yellowish. Maybe let's add some quartz and put it on top of that. And it's now visible that it's quite yellow. Let's use this light. Doesn't change anything. Nor does this one. They all emanate a kind of yellowish color. But I think some shaders change that. So I might look at those. Oh, that looks interesting. I like what it does with the windows. That actually might look a bit cooler than the complementary unbound. But I don't think it changes the lights much. Oh wow. Silder's shaders look interesting. That looks menacing. Very menacing and yellowish indeed. Doesn't change much, I don't think, regarding the lights. Oh wow. Now that's something. This might actually be a bit more realistic. I don't know. Or maybe not. Who knows? This is causing my PC to have a very hard time. And my eyes hurt. But yeah, this is a cool shader. Focusing on the lights themselves for a second again. This is what it looks like when you're at a floor with random lights, and apparently this floor... Yeah, this floor mainly only got these yellowish ones. Huh. But yeah, here's some pink. So let's go to like the floor below. Yeah, here we can see just what it feels like to walk from one room to another and see completely different lights. While it is an unusual choice, I think it gives the building a lot more of a lively atmosphere with all the variety. So yeah, that's cool, but what's also cool is looking out of these windows on the top floor, especially looking down at the other building of this complex. It just feels so cool. And maybe even looking out on, for example, that village there. It's a very tall building. Actually, let me see what height level we are at. 101. So that should be 24 floors if we count this as the top. And there are like 21 actual floors. So that's cool. Because I'm not going to count it. So there we go. I'd say we are finished with this building. I've also added on the antennas I said I would add. But yeah, that's that. It's done. let me change my FOV to 30, and I kinda like it. It looked a bit weird without that main skyscraper area, but now I like it. So, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I mainly hope you learned something about building skyscrapers or buildings like this. And yeah, thanks a lot for watching. If you want to see more videos like this, then maybe subscribe. I am definitely planning on doing more builds like this, because it's honestly quite enjoyable to not have to care about the materials or anything like that you have to care about in survival. So, hope you enjoyed. Thanks a lot for watching, have a great rest of your day, and see ya!